Hey everybody, Matthew Meyer, the author here again, and today I'm going to be doing a book review on the horror/suspense novel House. And this book came out in 2006, and it's by dual authors Frank Peretti and Ted Dekker. Now I know it's not uncommon for books to have collaborations by authors, but this is the first book that I've ever read by dual authors, so I thought that was pretty cool. And judging by the cover, I know there's an old saying, don't judge a book by its cover, but I have a tendency to break that rule, and I look at the cover before considering if I want to read it or not, or listen to it. But I will say that the cover is pretty cool for this book. It has a silhouette of a house, which I've always loved haunted houses, especially abandoned houses in the woods. At night, that typical cliche. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I think that's a sunset or a sunrise in the background. So it just makes it for a pretty awesome cover, in my opinion. And getting to the story, like I said, I'm a fan of like haunted houses and paranormal activity stuff, but I will say that I was a little bit disappointed that this book, this story did not have that. It did have paranormal stuff happening, but not in the way that I'm used to. But it was good and inventive in that way. It didn't, it didn't veer off from originality and then go into the cliche. It stayed on the path, and with that, that was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Their ending was kind of iffy for me, but I'll get to that later. We'll get into the story. I'll get into the story. There's two couples who are tricked into going into this bed and breakfast, which they actually really have no choice. The first couple, their names are Jack and Stephanie. They break down. Their car breaks down, and then they're escorted by a cop who's a bit of a jerk. He escorts them to this bed and breakfast in the middle of nowhere, and they run into this other couple named Randy and Leslie, and the hosts, who are actually the residents of the house, they're like the typical stereotype hillbilly, backwoods type characters. A little old lady and her two big burly sons. The little old lady's name is Betty, and her sons are Stuart and Pete. Pete's kind of mentally challenged one, and Stuart's he's the strong man. He looks after his family, and for some reason he has a real grudge against Randy. Randy and Leslie are kind of the aristocratic type, and Jack and Stephanie are kind of your normal middle class type couple. But they have to come together because all of a sudden they're trapped in this game by this man named White. He's like a supernatural murderer, and he has some rules for this game. He's written on a tin can, and the rules are actually on the back of the book, so I'll just read them to you. The house rules are: God came to my house and I killed him. I will kill anyone who comes to my house like I killed God. Give me one dead body and I might let rule number 2 slide. You have until dawn. So they're pretty much scrambling to find out if they want to abide by these rules or not. I think everyone except for Randy. Randy is actually considering killing one of them. And it's been a long time since I've read this, but I don't think his wife is an exception. So, but then a whole bunch of supernatural stuff happens in the house. The house actually becomes its own supernatural being. Especially like when they go into the basement and they keep finding doors that lead to other rooms. That it's like a maze, and they get trapped in like pipes. They meet with the hosts, Betty and Stuart. Stuart goes after Randy. Randy thinks he's killed Stuart, but it's actually a clone. There's this black mist, which I think is my favorite part in the book. this black mist swirls and makes clones of, I think, their innermost jealousies, their innermost evils. So there, and at one part, my favorite part is when they're in the boiler room, I believe, and boiler room or basement, and the mist comes and they're just surrounded by all these clones of themselves, their innermost evils, vices, and jealousies, and whatnot. And so they're trying to figure out a way to, outsmart the supernatural presence in this house. And all the while, White is like, he's closing in on them. And it's almost dawn, and he wants the answer. Is there going to be a dead body for me or not? And I don't want to give too much away, but it actually, obviously, like, good triumphs over evil. But I will say the ending was kind of disappointing for me. It wasn't what I thought it would be after all the hype, after all the climaxes and whatnot, after the story unfolds. It's just kind of disappointing, and I won't say too much, but just someone who you thought was dead ends up being not dead, I guess. So, but it's not that bad. I would recommend it. It's good for, like, if you want a nice juicy horror / suspense thriller. I mean, it's really good in that respect, and I think that that you will enjoy it. So, and I hope you do. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching my video, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. And, be careful out there. I know everything's kind of messed up nowadays, but be safe. Use your own judgment. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything that you wouldn't want somebody else to do. And just, have fun. Overall, just enjoy yourself. Enjoy your time. So, I'll see you later. Right? Bye.